this is Module 1 of Word, SAM Textbook Project. So when you go into the assignment, you're going to click on Start, and it's going to have you download some files. So these are the files that you're going to actually need. Now, this is something different because I've already done the assignment. So I'm going to go back one step, and these are the files that you're going to need. These are the instructions that you're going to work on. So I'm going to open this up. And you're actually going to start on 1-2 and with a blank document, but you're not going to really do the blank document. You're going to open up the assignment that's given to you, which I'll show you in a second. So let me move this over here. So you're going to download these files. So you click on it. If you have Google or Edge, you can click on it and choose Save As in here. I already have them open, so I'm not going to mess with it. So you're going to download this one, and you're going to download a picture in there. And make sure that you know where you're downloading them in there. So we'll go in to that, and when I come back, we'll answer all the questions for you. So let me close this out here, and I'm going to open up the assignment. Notice that W1, Richard Foster. Now, all of them are going to have your name on it. So you're not actually in this one going to open up a blank document. These are the ones that you have to submit. And then there's the new Word document. So let me open up the new Word document, and which is basically blank. So you can see up top here you have all the different layouts. So if you click on Home, you have Copy, Paste in the Format Painter, all your fonts. These are alignments. This is bullets. This is numbering. This is line spacing, indents. This is bucket. This is borders. This is sorting. These are styles. If you go into Insert, you have a whole bunch of stuff. So we're going to be working mainly with pictures and table, and occasionally a page break in here. A header and footer we're going to be doing, and page number. So you'll see all of those things will come into play as we get into the different modules. Then you have the design. So we're going to be working on themes today and colors. We're not going to be working on these here. We're going to be working on layout with margins, and we're going to be doing the before and after spacing between paragraphs. And we're also going to be working in design on page borders. Everything else we're going to be doing as time goes by. So let me move the screen over here. I'll be moving it back and forth in here. So these are things, it talks about the I-beam and the selection pointer and the hand pointer. So these are things that you want to look at on your own. And then we talked about the ribbon in here. And if you hold your mouse over, you'll see tooltips on different things. So that's very helpful for you. The quick access toolbar is going to be different for everybody. You're only going to have a few things. I have a whole bunch of things turned on here, so they're always available for me. We're going to talk more about that. The ruler is very important in here, as well as the showing and hiding of non-printable characters. So they're basically the formatting. Can't get rid of the first one here, but if I get rid of this, notice that they disappear. So let's leave that there. These are non-printable characters like tabs, spaces, and things of that nature. So if I hit the tab key, I see a little arrow. If I hit the space bar, I see little dots. They do not print, honest, but they'll help you when you get to try to figure out why things are not lining up. And it also talks about the scroll bars and things of that nature. So the first part is just pretty much reading in here. Then it talks about word wrap. What word wrap is, it will take a word that can't fit on a line and just wrap the whole word to the next line. Most of these things you probably already know. So now our instructions are in green. Tells us to type JCL Talent.
Do we save all of these files?
Yes, because you're going to submit them. So I will address that with you when they get done in here. And it's going to actually tell you what to save, but unfortunately the name is going to be a little bit differently because this is from the book in here, as if you weren't working with Cengage Unlimited. Here you're actually working with Cengage Unlimited, so they give you the files to start with. That's why you have your name in here. Then it says type 2, and notice that is capitalized, and hit the tab twice. So notice that you see the arrows there, so I know you hit the tab key. If I were to just choose this, they're gone. But now I wouldn't know why my mouse is over here, so, or the insertion point. So it's always good to work with these on. It tells us to press tab twice, and then JCL managers. Press the enter key, and then we're typing from. And I'm just following instructions that you can't see. And press tab. Date. And April 12th. Now I want to show you something that's built into Word, and then I'm going to erase it. If I type in TH, and as soon as I hit the space bar, it turns into a little TH. So you can turn that off if you don't want to. So then we have April 12th and a comma and 2021. And then RE and creative meeting. Spelling does count. Now, I cannot see the chat window, so if you have a question, please feel free to ask me, as long as it's related to this, and I'll be more than happy to answer it. So we are now down to step number 4, and let me show you this over here. Understand it between autocomplete and autocorrect, and you'll see that in action as we're doing it. So now I'm just following the instructions here. Tells me to type the next creative staff meeting. Will be held on the 18th. Notice that I got small. If you don't like that, the easiest way to do it is go into font and get rid of this. There's other ways to do it, but for today, that'll be the easiest way in here. And April at 3 p.m. in the conference room. On the ground floor. And notice that you see the little dot between each word. That just means I hit the space in here. And I believe we need a period. Then press the space bar. And let's see. And let's see. Number 6 is type heading the agenda. Will be the accessibility of our new recruitment tips web page. The page is scheduled for September. Now, notice that I just typed a few letters of September, and it notice that it just filled in September here. As soon as I hit the enter key, that's autocomplete in there. And there's a whole bunch of things that you can put in there, and you can add things that you want. So let's press the enter key, type Anna has been hired to draft content. A preliminary content outline is attached. Prior to the meeting, please review the web content accessibility recommended by the World Wide Web Consortium, and period. And it tells you when you press the enter key, the new paragraph, notice Word adds a little bit more space than what you have over here. And that's because if you go into layout, you can see it's adding 8 points after every paragraph, 8 points of space in there. So I believe I need to hit the pointer key. And there, position the pointer after 4 but before the space in the last sentence of the first paragraph. It's going to teach you how to delete. So it is in the last sentence of the first paragraph. So it says before the space. I know it's a space because here it is right here. And it says delete it by hitting the backspace 3 different times. Move the insertion point before staff in. Thing and make sure I'm not doing it. And then we need to type in to launch in. So that takes care of that. Then we want to move the insertion point before the word staff in the first sentence. So that's right here. And this time we're hitting delete. When you press the delete key, it deletes the key to the right, or the letter to the right. When you get the backspace, it removes the one to the left. So I'm hitting delete 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually 5 times. And the last one will be the space if I want. And delete the space after it. And that looks like that's all I need to do for this one. So now it's going to tell me to save the document. So this is very important when you're doing it. The document here is really a document that we open up. So what we need to do is click on File Save As, or a shortcut is F12 key. Do not just click on Save in here. So I don't know why that brought up. Let me hit F12. All right. So what we need to do in here is it wants us to type in ILW1_memo. What you need to make sure that you're typing in new. Let me get to it. So I'm deleting everything but the underscore in my name. And I'm typing in ILWD1 memo. I'm leaving the underscore in my name, which is what I have right here. So I'm going to, do I have this open? I believe I have it open already. So let me close that. And I'm going to just copy this so I don't have to type it again. And I'm going to open up the one that I did a little while ago. And that this is what we just did here. This is the memo. So yeah, so we're going to be working on this and we're going to add stuff over here. So I'm going to save this under a different name. And I'm going to close this. And then I'm going to save it. and I'll get an error saying it's already there, so I want to replace it. You won't have to do this. You just said I do these things several times over here. Now, obviously, I spelled something wrong because I have this red squiggly line. So I'm going to click in here and use the spell check to find that for me. So that is number 5. Number 6, place the insertion point to word for conference in the first sentence, which is right here. And then we're going to type in large. So notice that it inserts. If your cursor is a little bit different, you may be in overstrike, which means it'll replace things. So just be careful in there. So that's all I want you to remember. If all of a sudden things start replacing it, you need to go back into insert mode. So, and don't worry about that right now. So large, then press the space bar. So we press the space bar, and it tells us to save it again. So it's giving you pretty much step-by-step directions. Then it talks about shortcuts for Control X to cut, Control C to copy, and Control V to paste, Control S to save. So now we're selecting text in here. So these are different ways that you can select text. You can drag, you can double click to do a word. You can do a line of text, move the pointer to the left of the line and do that. That's the whole line. If you want to do a sentence, just hold the control key down and click. And a paragraph, you can triple click, but I'll show you an easier way to do that than to triple click. So the easier way is when your mouse is to the left. Let me click here. And you see how it's going to change to an arrow to the right. If I double click, then it does the entire paragraph, as long as you're in here. If I just click single click, it does the line. If I want to do just a sentence, I'm going to hold the control key down and notice that it does just the sentence. If I want to select the entire document, the easiest way is hold the control key down and click A. Just be very careful that while you have it selected, you don't hit a key. If you do, it's going to replace it. So don't worry about that. Just use your undo, which is up there. So it tells us about the show hide. Click before JCL managers, which is here, and drag to select it. And then type in creative staff. Now notice, as soon as I do it, it's going to replace it. And let's see. Double click Dawn and type LaPointe. Let's see. And type your first name. And double click. We'll select the word here. And my last name. And in the R line, we want to select the whole line. So really not the best way to do it, but it's showing you how you can select an entire line. Notice that it's going to select also the paragraph mark in there. So what we need to do is type in RE. And it wants us to hit the tab key twice. And then just type in recruitment tips web page. Now notice I spelled recruitment long. So if I just right click on it, it should bring up the proper spelling of it. Select a sentence. Anna Joquez has been hired to draft content. So I'm going to hold the control key down and select it that way. And then type, and it wants us to delete it. So I'm just going to click on the delete key. And then number 7 is click after the period at the end of the second period. So right over here, then we're going to type in C www.w3.org for more information. And let me change this to a little d or a little o. Now notice that this is now a hyperlink. No, it's a hyperlink. If I control click, it's going to take us to the w3.org. If you want to see what's actually in there, you can go and edit hyperlink. And it tells us where we're at. This is the text. So if I want to change the text, I can change it right there. That was number 7. And we want us to remove the hyperlink. So I'm just going to right click. And this time I'm going to choose remove hyperlink. And then it tells us to save it from clicking on the little mouse on the little disk, and we're good to go. So you can see this is what we're supposed to have. So I think that's it for this one here. Let's move on. So now we're going to format the text using the mini toolbar. So we're going to select JCL Talent. Notice that it's there. Now if I accidentally click somewhere else, it's gone. Or even if it's gone, if I move down here, it's gone. You can just right click and it brings it back up in here. This is the mini toolbar, which has a lot of the things that are up top. Notice the font, the bold, italic, underline, and a whole bunch of other things in here. So what it wants us to do, I believe, is change the font. So let's see. So we're going to increase the font. We're going to make it bold, italic, and underline. So I'll click over here, bold, italic, underline, and we're going to increase the font to 12 by clicking on that. Each time you click, it increases the font size. Then we're going to center it by clicking here, or you can hit Control E. And then we're going to change the case to uppercase. So let's go here. Notice that you have sentence case in here, lowercase, uppercase, capitalize each word, or toggle case. So here we're going to choose uppercase. Toggle case just means if it's a capital letter, change it to a lowercase letter. If it's a lowercase letter, change it to a capital letter. So let's do this here. We'll toggle the case. So you can see everything's changed. And then you go, oh, I didn't mean to do that. You can either undo it or just click on toggle case. And we're good to go. So now what we're going to do is, let's see, I missed a, click the blank line between RE line and the body text. So I neglected to hit the enter key, which is fine. So I'm doing that now. And I'm going to go into the borders, and I'm going to do a bottom border. So you have bottom, top, left, right, or you can have a border all the way around. So here we're just going to choose bottom border. And then it tells us to print, but we're not going to print it. And it talks about the zoom right there. So this is about half of what we need to cover in this.